I want to challenge all of your customers who buy trees from you to see who can get the Barbados cherry the biggest, the fastest. So I'm gonna see if this hole really does grow the biggest and best, most freeze tolerant, most heat tolerant, and tastiest Barbados cherry.
We'll see. We'll see.
So I'm definitely gonna add in the azomite when I plant the tree, and I'm hoping that I'll have the best Barbados cherry in the Phoenix area.
Good chance of it.
Okay. Hey everybody, it's Jake Mace, the vegan athlete, here with Shamus O'Leary from Shamus O'Leary's Tropical Fruit Trees. And you guys have seen in our videos before this Barbados cherry acerola tree. It's the only one I have, and I got it from this guy, from your place, Shamus O'Leary's, a year and a half ago.
Yeah, last spring.
In a 3-gallon pot.
Correct.
We went from a 3-gallon plant to this in a year and a half.
The equivalent of at least a 25-gallon.
This is like a 25-gallon now?
If not close to a 45-gallon.
Wow, that's awesome. And I want more of these. I want 3 more.
Definitely.
Because I want to do a hedge of Barbados cherry or acerola, a hedge to make a divider in my yard. So can I have 3 more?
You may, if you get yourself on the pre-sale list.
The pre-sale list?
The pre-sale list.
I want it now, man.
Because as things are going right now, all the plants that we're getting in the fall are going to be spoken for before we get them.
Oh wow, so you're out right now.
I'm out right now.
But you're doing pre-sales for the fall.
For September pickup.
And which kind of trees and plants are you doing pre-sale for?
Barbados cherry, Chico Sapote, coconut cream mango. We are doing star fruits, Aravaipa avocado, and lychee, longan. Some of the more popular trees that we sell out of pretty quickly.
So I can order an acerola or Barbados cherry from you now, with a credit card, debit card, through your PayPal system.
Correct.
And it will be here when?
Middle of September.
Okay.
Mother Nature willing.
Right. And that's a good time to plant, is in September?
Yeah, because September is when we start coming on the downslope of the summer heat. So we're still at 100, but we're not getting the 110s and the 115s. And then by the end of the month, we're generally into the 90s.
But I'm ready to plant it now, so I gotta do something. What can I do right now to whet my appetite for planting these Barbados cherries that will come in September?
What we can do today is prep the soil. We can get the holes dug, and we can compost them, we can mulch them, we can feed them, we can water them to bring some life to the soil. So that by the time the trees are ready to be planted, middle of September, 90 days-ish out, you already have a living soil going on, and that will lessen the likelihood of transplant shock, and the tree will immediately start growing, as opposed to being planted in a newly disturbed soil and trying to figure out where it's at.
So we're going to dig the holes?
Correct.
We're going to fill the holes?
Yes.
We're going to water the holes?
Yes.
With no plants in it?
Correct.
All right, let's go do it.
Full planting.
Let's go do it.
Okay.
We're here at my house in Tempe, Arizona, and we're going to be doing a lot of construction this summer. So we have the floor here that we're expanding out. And I'm going to put a hedge across this area right here, this dead zone, that will be full of Barbados cherry to block people from entering in this way, because we're going to build a nice archway to the right with vines going over top of it. So first thing I want to do is I want to dig the holes here.
Correct.
And we're going to prep this place for the plants. And is this kind of making the soil alive before the plants get here?
Correct. Soil needs food, oxygen, moisture in order to bring in the microbial life and the worms and bugs that will start to eat your mulch and make compost, and then that turns into humus, which is the life of the soil. A good soil will rest for 60 to 90 days before you plant in it anyway. If you have that option, it's always best. So coincidentally, we're about 90 days out from delivery of the trees. We need something to do today anyway, so why don't we get this done while still reasonable temperature?
Because a lot of times when I put my new trees in the ground, they kind of just sit there and they don't do anything for the first couple months.
Correct.
So you're saying if we prep the soil and the hole 3 months beforehand, they won't have that shock period?
Correct.
Wow.
They'll start growing right away because they're happy and there's food available, and the mycorrhiza is already living underneath the soil, and that will attach itself to the roots of the plant and start feeding it.
Nice. You're not trying to make me look crazy just by watering an empty hole all summer?
You do a good job of that on your own, Jake. I don't need help with that.
All right, so we're going to rake back the wood chips here first, and I'm going to kind of clear the spot that I know I'm going to put 3 holes, like 1 here, 2 here, and 3 there, because I want this to be a dense hedge of Barbados cherry. Okay? Okay. So let's rake this back, and I'll come back to you guys in a minute. Okay, so we've raked back the area we're going to put the holes, and I envision this as having 3 plants, 3 holes. So like 1 here, 2 here, and 3 here. So there's a walkway to the left, and a training area for Tai Chi, yoga, and martial arts beyond it.
So your plan is to hedge the acerola.
To hedge it.
Good.
And I want to actually trim them like a hedge.
Yes, they can be done.
Okay.
Definitely.
Will I have the only acerola hedge in the Phoenix area?
To my knowledge, although I haven't spoken with all of the 2 million homeowners.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so.
Some people out there have some hidden gems of edible yards.
Definitely.
Okay, so we're gonna build this hole right here and show you guys how we do the hole. Are you gonna start this thing? I'm gonna go take a nap, and I'll come back to you guys in about 5 minutes.
What else is new?
One thing while he's doing the hole, I highly recommend if you're at a new house and you don't know your yard yet, to get a blue stake done. That's what I learned the hard way, is have somebody come out from the gas department, water department, and electrical department to spray paint where your electricity, gas, and water lines are, so you don't accidentally hit the gas line.
Sweet.
So we've got this hole dug, and I'm anticipating, am I right or wrong, that these Barbados cherry trees coming in September, the ones I'm pre-ordering, are going to be in 3-gallon pots?
Correct.
Okay, so we have to dig the hole for 3-gallon.
Yes.
And so I have a 5-gallon pot here, so I figure if the hole's big enough for the 5-gallon, then I've done enough to handle a 3-gallon.
Correct. Now, your soil here is pretty nice.
Okay.
So I don't think it's necessary to go any larger with the hole, because the tree is going to be happy with this. So what we've got here is about a 2x2 square,
Okay.
with about a 2-foot depth.
Okay.
And that's going to be plenty for a 3-gallon tree.
So it's 2 feet by 2 feet by 2 feet deep.
Correct. Now, if your soil was really poor, a lot of caliche, a lot of rock, you're probably going to want to expand that out.
How come? Why is that?
So that the roots of the plants have nice soil, loose soil to work their way into. The harder the soil, the less drainage, the less oxygen. It's going to stunt the growth of the plant. So the more that you can loosen it up, you have the opportunity to provide more food to the tree, better drainage, more oxygen. So if you have poor soil, you're going to want to go a little bit wider than this. If you have a halfway decent soil, 2x2x2 should be plenty.
Okay.
So the hole should look like this when you're done with it.
So basically my soil doesn't have to be as big a hole because the roots of the plant can grow into my soil.
Correct.
But
Fairly easily.
Fairly easily.
Yeah.
But if it was rock or caliche, the roots would have a hard time
Yes.
growing into there like a pot, so we have to make the pot a lot larger.
Correct.
To give the roots room.
Yes.
But my soil is just lucky that it's soft and nicer.
Yes. Now also you notice that we haven't dug a round hole. This
Yeah.
is a little more squared.
Yeah, why did we do that?
The reason being is if you have a round hole, the thinking is that the tree will grow as it does in a pot, and it can get root bound and the roots will start to circle.
Oh.
Whereas if you have some angles inside the hole, that forces them to grow into the soil.
This now is about the size hole people should dig for a 3-gallon tree.
Correct. This would be fine.
And that's
This
a 5-gallon.
or if not, a little wider, it's always going to be helpful.
And that's a 5-gallon pot for perspective, so you guys can see that's how big it is and that's how big the hole is. One of the number one questions you get is, how big should the hole be?
How to dig a hole.
And now we got a pile of dirt, so what's the next step?
The next step is we're going to mix this 50-50 native soil with the soil that I make, the mulch mixture.
Okay.
And that is a combination of lava rock, lava sand, and mulch. We're going to mix that half and half, and we're going to backfill this hole.
So let's build it.
Yes, sir.
What's our first step?
I have a bag here of the mix that we make. This is a custom blend.
You can get this from Shamus O'Leary's.
Yes, and these run about $5 a bag. They're about 40-45 pounds a bag.
So only $5?
Yep. That's when we have them on hand.
Okay.
When we have extra. It's not something we stock all the time for sale.
And don't you have sand, compost, and mulch? What's inside this stuff?
This here,
Here, I'll do a sample.
I'll just go grab it.
What's in there?
Now here's lava rock. And there's also lava sand, which is called basalt.
Okay.
And then there's 2 different sizes of mulch. So this is built for drainage. And then you have a little bit of organic material with the mulch that over time will start to break down. We're going to mix this 50-50 with native soil.
50-50.
Backfill the hole. I use this, if you're container growing, you can use this straight. Don't need to add anything to it. But if you're planting in the ground, half and half with native soil.
Why not just plant straight in this in the ground?
Because you want the tree to get acclimated to the native soil, to the surroundings, because at some point the roots are going to grow into the native soil.
Right.
And if there's too much of a difference between the two, they can shock the plant, they can stop growing. So there's a lot of minerals in our soil, there's a lot of good attributes to our native soil, but we have to overcome the compaction issue. We only need a little bit of this.
Okay. So just that much to break up the native clay.
If you have any extra sand around at home, you can always add that in as a thinning agent.
Now, mycorrhiza is mushrooms, it's microbes. What is it?
Mycorrhiza is a beneficial fungus that, underneath the soil, when activated with water, will create a spider web underneath the ground.
Okay.
And in 2 to 3 weeks' time, this will start to grow and it'll become alive.
It's like an intelligent spider web.
Yes, it's a life form. What happens when you plant the tree? This will attach to the roots of the tree, and now the plant can take in nutrients from wherever this web reaches. So right away, it has a nurse tree, so to speak, something to help take care of the tree underneath the ground.
So this is going to help our tree take in nutrients
Yes.
and basically build a civilization of its own.
You don't need to add that much. Maybe a couple tablespoons to the bottom of the hole.
Just like that. Can you guys see that? Check that out down there.
So just a little bit. And if you want to grab the shovel behind you, we'll backfill this.
And just start backfilling it in.
Yep.
So now this is the mixture of the Shamus mix with some sand, with some native soil,
Yes.
all together.
And while you're doing that, I'm going to add some worm castings.
Yeah, what are worm castings?
Worm castings are worm poop.
It's worm poop.
Yep.
But a worm, does it like shed its skin, or how does it do that?
Skin, there's eggs, there's leftover food, the whole 9 yards.
And what does
worm
that look like?
castings are the richest thing on earth.
It looks like coffee grounds.
Yeah. 100% organic. It's not going to burn the tree. You can use as much as you can afford.
And if there's worm eggs in here, then we're going to get actual worms.
Correct.
Inside them.
So especially for the avocado growers, a living soil is very important. If you do not have a living soil, you're going to have a hard time growing avocados.
Okay.
So it's very important. You want to add as much of the good stuff as you can, so that when the avocado comes home from the hospital, it's ready to go.
So in the avocado tree, when the Aravipa Arizona avocado tree comes home from the Shamus nursery, you want to put those worm castings in there.
Definitely. Invest a few dollars in worm castings, mycorrhiza, the good stuff. Fish emulsion.
Okay.
You need all that.
Yep. And then continue on with the mix, yes?
Yes.
So I compost all my produce and all my yard clippings here on site. And I got one of these Joraform tumbler composters that really cooks it fast. So we want to add some of this homegrown compost in there, yeah?
Yes. That's going to bring a lot of life into the soil, a lot of microbial activity, a lot of food. I'm going to mix that in with a little bit more, finish off the worm castings.
And is that enough compost? Not too much, right?
Yeah, so that would be fine. You generally don't want to mix compost in with the soil if you're planting a tree that same day.
Okay.
Because it can burn.
Oh.
Or manure. No.
No manure.
On
Yeah, notice
top.
we did no manure, no steer manure,
Correct.
no chicken manure.
Right.
There's nothing of that.
Manure and compost should be added to the top and then let it break down and work its way down to the roots. We're not planting for 3 months, so this is okay. If you were planting today, you would want to wait until the tree is planted, finished off with soil, and then a layer of compost and mulch across the top.
Okay. Cool. So now what's our process? So in the fall, when I get these Barbados cherry trees from you, do I dig out just enough for the root ball?
Correct.
I don't need to dig out all of it.
No, you're all done. The hard work's
Okay.
done. So you'll dig out just a couple shovelfuls out of the middle, and then that's where your tree will go.
And then just kind of tuck it in?
Yes.
And then water it?
Yep.
That's it? That's it.
Easy enough.
Nice.
Now we're going to finish it off with flooding it with water.
Okay.
And then also some fish emulsion. And I like to use the fish emulsion about once a month because that will bring in a lot of the worms. They'll smell it along with the compost.
Yeah.
And that'll bring in all the bugs that'll eat the mulch and the compost and start to make humus. So that'll kind of kickstart it a little bit.
So to finish up here, I'm going to start watering this guy.
Yes.
And I have your water filter on my hose.
At the other end.
At the other end.
Correct. The calcium filter.
The calcium filter.
Yes.
How often should I water this guy all summer?
Once a week.
Once a week. So.
I'm going to prepare some fish juice here.
Okay.
A 5-gallon bucket of water. I'm going to add about 10 to 15 ounces. And I'll just fill it with water and let it mix.
Now I've been vegan for 15 years. The fish emulsion is totally vegan, right? No fish had to die for that?
I'd have to get back to you on that.
Oh man.
I think it's all from canned tuna.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So it comes out of the can.
Okay.
I like this particular brand because it's whole fish.
And so that's the mix right there.
That's it. And we're just going to let that flood.
And we're going to do this with a second hole and a third hole, so we can make 3 different holes for 3 different Barbados cherries.
Correct. And then we want to spread the mulch back over the top.
Okay.
So if you want to do mulch, I'll create the berm.
And the berm.
Now the berm you want around the hole, about 4 inches tall. That way when you water the tree, you can give it a nice wide water, a nice wide soak.
And the berm just holds the water in,
Yes.
so it doesn't run off.
Yep.
I've dug 150 of these berms for each one of my trees here in my house.
This is the proper way to water your trees. You do not want to have them set up on drip lines. You want a good 5, 10 gallons of water at one time. Because what's going to happen is the surrounding soil is very dry and it's going to suck away a lot of that moisture that is meant for the tree. So this way you're guaranteed that the root ball is going to get wet.
Okay. Cool. Now you're putting the wood chips back on top, huh?
Yes.
Was that supposed to be my job?
Yes. But I won't complain.
Now when I plant this guy, I'm not going to mix those wood chips into the soil, just scrape them off the top.
Correct.
And then put them back on top.
Yeah.
Then we'll just leave this hose on to fill up the hole, huh?
Yes. And this is what the finished product should look like. After the hole is filled, layer it with mulch. Wood chips, grass clippings, pine needles, leaves, anything you can gather together. Fill the top area. And that's going to hold the moisture in the summer. And it insulates the ground, which will create a friendly environment for the worms and the bugs. And in a week's time, they're going to go to work underneath there, starting to devour all the organic material and creating humus, which is life in the soil. So 90 days, so it's going to look really, really nice.
They're not creating hummus, they're creating humus.
Correct.
Yes. So other people can order Barbados cherry and other trees from you
Yes.
at your Facebook page, right?
Either through the Facebook page, you might have to scroll back through a few weeks worth of posts to get to that particular listing.
Okay.
An easier, quicker way would be through the YouTube channel.
Oh yeah.
In our Barbados cherry video, as an example, in the text beneath the video, you'll find the link to the PayPal account. You'll find the same thing for the lychee and the coconut cream mango. Just probably a little easier. Just go to the YouTube.
Well, we'll do it in this video too.
Yeah.
So what I'll do is in this video, since I'm posting this one on YouTube, I'll put below the video every one of the trees you have right now available for pre-sale.
Okay.
I'll put the link to each tree below this video. I want to challenge all of your customers who buy trees from you to see who can get the Barbados cherry the biggest, the fastest. So I'm going to see if this hole really does grow the biggest and best, most freeze tolerant, most heat tolerant, and tastiest Barbados cherry.
We'll see. We'll see.
So I'm definitely going to add in the azomite when I plant the tree, and I'm hoping that I'll have the best Barbados cherry in the Phoenix area.
Good chance of it.
Okay. Well, I really hope you guys adhere to the advice that this guy gives and that we give in these videos, and don't just dig your hole of clay soil, put your tree in there and put the clay back in. Make a living soil like this that will ensure you to have success. I don't think that certain people just have green thumbs. Certain people do the work.
It's through practice.
Practice.
After you've killed
Experience.
a few trees, you learn how to keep them alive and then how to make them thrive.
Good judgment comes from experience.
That's what I hear.
And experience comes from bad judgment. So there you go. Thanks for helping out today.
Thank you, sir.
And make sure you guys like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channels, go to the links below the video and pre-order your tree from Shamus O'Leary's, and go to jakemace.com for food and filters and foliar feed to feed these guys. And if you're into sustainability, don't forget 2 things. You want to grow your own food at home and go vegan. And I'll see you guys back here at our YouTube channel next time. Hey, bonus footage for you guys. Don't tell Shamus, but I'm going to take a handful of this micronized azomite. I'm going to sprinkle this on the hole. And that way all those 70 different rock dust elements, minerals, and trace elements get down there in the hole to feed those microbes and remineralize my soil with minerals that it currently doesn't have. The challenge is on, guys. Grow an edible tree. I'll see you back here September for the update video. Subscribe to the channel so you guys get the update video of when I actually plant the acerola in the ground.